Perched atop Grianan Mountain in County Donegal, just a short distance from Derry and the border with Northern Ireland, the Grianan of Aileach, meaning stony place of the sun in Irish, stands as one of the most compelling monuments in all of Ireland. The annals call it the father of all buildings in Ireland, with its breathtaking views of the surrounding landscape, including Lough Foyle and Lough Swilly. The stone Ringfort embodies the rich history and mythology of Ireland. The current structure that is seen today is mostly from the 1870 to 1878 reconstruction, which was overseen by Dr. Walter Bernard of Derry. Earlier excavation of the site were carried out in the 1830s by archaeologist George Petrie, who also found evidence of an early Christian church in the area and an ancient burial mound similar to the many that have been found across Ireland. Historically, the site is thought to have been in use by humans since as early as 1700 BC, or maybe even earlier. Records suggest that the original fort was constructed between 500 to 800 AD by King Orende, a king of the Kenel Neoin, who were a branch of the Donegal dynasty who ruled over Western Ulster, at the time known as Aileach. From his newly built mountain fort, King Orende could look over his kingdom, upon which covered much of Western Ulster, and in turn his subjects could look up and see the seat of their king. The inner ring likely contained many wooden and stone houses over the millennia. Grianan was the site of many inaugurations of the kings of Aileach and the festivities held in the ancient lands. In the 2nd century AD, geographer Ptolemy of Alexandria mapped out the Grianan as one of only 5 sites in Ireland to be noted in his maps. Close to the fort is a small Christian spring well, which was likely the water supply to the fort's inhabitants. Some believe that it was in this well that St. Patrick baptised a young prince called Eoin. It was recorded that the saint, after visiting the site, blessed the fortress and prophesied that the kings and ordained persons from Aileach would spread all over Ireland. Another famous king associated with the Grianan is Murdoch of the Leather Cloaks, who, according to the Book of Invasions, he took his prisoners to the Grianan in 941 AD. In around the 8th century, the fort bore witness to Viking invasions, who would often raid Ireland's coastal settlements. The annals of Ireland recount numerous times in which the Vikings attacked the area, but the history remains patchy at most as to whether or not the Northmen even attacked the fort. Viking fleets would have likely been spotted from the Grianan's location, with its commanding views of Lough Foyle and Lough Swilly. There are some indirect references relating to the O'Neills defeating a Viking invasion force from Lough Foyle, which would have likely been spotted from the Grianan. In 1101 AD, the King of Munster, Murdoch O'Brien, led an army into Ulster to fight Domhnall MacLachlan, the current king of the O'Neills. Brian had hoped to claim the High Kingship of Ireland. The Munster king planned what was to be the most ambitious military campaign of his life. His 6-week campaign was successful, culminating in the destruction of the Grianan. In a symbolic gesture of the O'Neill dynasty's destruction, Brian ordered his men to carry the stones used to build the Grianan back to Limerick, one by one, as a symbolic act of his conquest. Although the seat of their rule had been destroyed, and Brian was declared High King of Ireland, the O'Neills continued to resist his rule. As with many of Ireland's ancient monuments and tombs, the Grianan is an important site in Ireland's mythology. Many people claim that standing within the walls one can hear the echoes of the past, of battle, of merrymaking, and rituals of days gone by, and is closely associated to the Tuatha De Danann, a godlike race of powerful beings who inhabited Ireland, and according to some folklore still exist as the Sheed. Some mythological accounts tell us how the Dagda, one of the Tuatha De Danann's chief gods, built the fort as a tomb for his son Ead, who had drowned in Lough Foyle. The Dagda was known as the god of fertility, wisdom, druidry and kingship. The Dagda built the stone fort to guard his son's soul and to mark the boundary between the living world and the world of the dead. Another version of the story claims that the hill was built by giants atop the residence of the Shining Ones, the parents of the children of the Shade, or fairies as they are more commonly known as. The Book of Leinster tells another tale of the fort's possible or maybe mythological construction. A poem tells us the tale of a builder named Frigrand, who was given the fort as his home and built a house within its walls. The poem also mentions two masons named Imchael and Gerban, who helped to build the site. Other stories of the Grianans claim that druids used to worship the day star within its walls, and the folklore suggests that the hill itself is associated with sun deities, hence its name. Regardless the origins of where the fort came from, the Grianan is rightly a symbol of Ireland's heritage, both historically and mythologically. Standing proud on the hills of Donegal, the Grianan remains not just a relic of Ireland's ancient past, but a powerful symbol of resilience, mystery, and the enduring spirit of the people who once called it home.